So we are making relleno, right?
Yes.
And this recipe is from
my great aunt, Mariquita Gonzalez.
Okay, and you don't have to cut these.
You can just toast the bread, lightly toast it, because then you're going to brown it later. But
we are just cutting it.
It seems to toast better when you cut it.
Yes.
Or should I say faster?
Yes, toast faster. I'll show you in a second.
And you don't have to buy expensive bread. You can buy this cheapest store brand bread.
So this is what we're trying to do. So my mom already toasted it, and this is how it comes out. So tomorrow we will blend it and make it into like a powder, kind of. Not powder, but
like breadcrumbs, smaller breadcrumbs.
Yes. This is what your bread should look like after you've cut it all up and cubed it. And now we're gonna put it in the oven. Okay, and after 15 minutes, they come out nice and toasted like this. So you wanna let them cool for a little bit. So here are the ingredients that we're gonna be using today to make the relleno. And here are the toasted cubes that you saw us cutting and toasting earlier. And here is the recipe that we have for the relleno. And here is a picture of my tia Mariquita. So now we're making the breadcrumbs before we...
Here's a little powder.
And after this, we're going to...
It'll be browned with oil.
Browned with oil. And we're using our Vitamix. And we're going to be putting it in this lovely pan.
It's been handed down for many, many years. It belonged to my tia Mariquita. And oh, it's the only pan I remember her ever using.
Is what your breadcrumb should look like after you've put it in the blender. And this is a pretty big bowl, if you could see my hand. And this is about 3 loaves, or this is 3 loaves of bread. Okay, after you've made your breadcrumbs, you're going to peel up 1 giant potato.
Or 2 medium size.
Or 2 medium size, and boil that.
So they're semi-soft.
Till they're semi-soft. I don't know if you heard her.
And then we'll add that to the rest of the vegetables that are going to be sauteing.
We're also going to put a carrot in there.
Along with the potato. And the reason is, I asked my aunt, and she said because the carrots and the potato take longer to cook, and to soften, and so you want them pretty much all your vegetables to soften at the same time.
Okay, so first we are going to cut the tomatoes because we're going to...
The relleno takes a lot of juice to make it moist, and the juice comes from the tomatoes. So that's why you have a lot of tomatoes.
We're just gonna cube these also, and then we're going to saute them, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And if you don't want to cut the tomatoes, you can also used canned tomatoes, diced tomatoes. That's the easy way to do this. Now we're cutting the zucchini to add to the relleno.
Basically, it's stuffing with vegetables in it. Dice some celery.
And you only need 2 stalks?
2 stalks is plenty.
Okay.
I'm going to dice some onion here.
And that's a medium-sized onion.
Oil on the bottom of this pan. Probably enough to cover the bottom of the pan. And we will add all our vegetables in here and our tomato. Which right now we have the zucchini, the celery, and the onion. And then later on we'll put the potato and the carrot.
And how long are you going to do that for?
Till they start to get semi-soft.
Which is about?
Ooh, it takes at least a half an hour. And here goes the tomato. And the tomato we want to release a lot of juice.
And we're going to cover it just to help release the juices.
Okay, once the potato's pretty much semi-soft, you want to dice it. It's kind of hot, so I don't want to touch it. And then we'll be adding that to the rest of the vegetables. Potato and the carrot.
Oh, let me show you guys what it looks like.
Yeah, that's okay.
And that's been sauteing and cooking for about maybe 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And so we're just mixing all of the ingredients together. Okay, now
Now we're going to add our cauliflower mixture. If some of the pieces are too big, I cut them smaller.
and we showed you the jar earlier in the video.
Yeah, it's pickled cauliflower. And sometimes I add some of the carrots that are in there because, you know, they're pickled. But I try and get, and if you can't find this pickled jar of cauliflower, which I couldn't find one time, my Aunt Nata told me just to get frozen cauliflower and mix it with the yellow chilies that we're going to add to this later.
Which we also showed you at the beginning of the video.
Because the yellow chilies are pickled, so she said the cauliflower will pick up the pickled flavor.
Okay.
Our next step is going to be to brown the breadcrumbs. So I put enough oil, just enough oil to cover, not cover the whole pan, but just...
This is a wok, but you could use any kind of pan.
Yeah, you can use any pan. I like using the wok because you have to stir it to brown it, and I make less of a mess when I use the wok.
And that's the oil. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. I would say maybe a couple of tablespoons, you think, of oil?
That looks like 3 tablespoons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for some reason I use this spoon because I use 1, 2, and that gives me pretty much plenty. And then I'm gonna just keep stirring it until I get it lightly brown.
Toasted.
Toasted.
And how long do you do that for? About
maybe a minute, because you don't want it to burn. I remember my aunt telling me that. Don't want it to burn, so you gotta keep stirring it.
And you can already see it's
yeah, it's
toasted.
getting lightly toasted. Lightly browned. I'm gonna transfer it to this big pot over here. Pan, I should say.
And I should mention that each time she does, or you do need to add oil each time, so you're gonna need a lot of oil for this. Because of course the breadcrumbs soak up all that oil. So just keep that in mind. Stop. And actually, she forgot to mention that you don't have to use the pickled juice in the jar, the pickled juice that's in the jar. She uses just a little bit of it in her in her mixture. Good.
Okay, now we're gonna pour everything in and mix it up. This is a can of pitted olives. The yellow chilies are for decoration.
These are for decoration. This, I guess, if you just need more of it, because why do you have 2 jars?
I didn't know I had one already.
Oh, sorry, we already had one, so that's an extra jar. Should I pour this now? Bring this over here. We're gonna pour it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pour all of this. This is everything we cut up and kind of stewed for a little bit. And I'm gonna pour it into the breadcrumbs.
And then it's just mix everything.
And now, here, I'll move it. Use your hand too.
I can never get it all mixed. So good. I noticed last year I didn't mix it all the way to the bottom.
Oh, okay, I see. I guess make sure you really, really mix it in, because otherwise,
So I use that spoon.
otherwise, I'm gonna tell people.
So I should get somebody like Uncle Jerry and say, hey, got to mix the
Now we're just adding the
little yellow chilies. It's mostly just for decoration.
hot yellow chili.
And especially for those that want a little yellow chili in their food.
And then she's also going to slice some egg,
Also,
hard-boiled eggs,
also just for decoration.
also just for decoration.
If I forget the egg, my sister always says, you forgot the egg. It's just for decoration. There we go. And it's all done. This is the relleno recipe handed down from my great aunt, Tia Mariquita. And this is her pan that she left me. And I hope everybody likes it.
This is our stuffing.
And I've been making it for years.